Hello and welcome back to our Lightworkers Secret to Success live YouTube video. So excited that you can join us today. I'm here with Adam, Pamela, Amanda, Rebecca, and me, Colette. And we have a really exciting topic tonight. We're going to be diving into the top 6 limiting beliefs of Lightworkers. And so we're going to talk about them, and then we're actually going to do a little clearing for all of us, including you if you want to receive it. You just have to say yes, and then the clearing will set the intention that anyone watching this who says yes will get the clearing for this limiting belief. And so yeah, we're just really excited to dive into this. Amanda wrote them down for us. So I'm going to let Amanda go through each limiting belief, and then we will clear them.
Okay, so number 1, do we want to do one by one, right? We'll just
clear
them. Okay, so the first top limiting belief that came up was, I won't make money as a light worker. So we can say, no, I don't believe that, right? But that's our consciousness. So we want to know, we want to go above into our higher self, to our subconscious, and see, is that an actual limiting belief that we hold in our body? So I'm going to go around the room here, around the Zoom, and muscle test for everybody. So I'll just start with myself. So do I believe that I won't make money as a light worker? So I get a no. Colette, I get a yes.
Amanda, do you want to talk about what you're doing? Like how you're
using so I'm using the pendulum, and I'm using the pendulum, so it tells me yes or no. So I'm connected to all the energy here, and as you guys watch, I can be connected to you guys, and then Colette's going to kind of tell us some other ways, so that when you're at home, I won't be testing for you, but she'll tell you some ways to ask yourself, and then Pamela and I will discuss a little bit more about muscle testing, and how you guys can actually test at home as well. All right, so I said, Colette, you do have that negative belief. Adam does not. Rebecca does not. Pamela does not. So we need to clear.
And so for you, your pendulum swings one way for yes and another way for no, right?
Yeah, and everybody's different too. Yeah, everybody's different. And actually, oh my gosh, so Pamela and I did our oracle card reading for the collective, and I couldn't find my pendulum, and so Mariana got one for Christmas, and so she let me borrow hers, but I found mine, Pamela.
Yay.
So yay. So it is.
And sometimes too, pendulums can be different. I've got several different ones, and so like the one I use for healing does things differently than, so like for me, a yes, a no is usually back and forth. No, it's side to side, and a yes is back and forth. But with this one, my no is back and forth and my yes swings counterclockwise. But when it's doing a healing, it actually does clockwise and it spins. So pendulums like can be different.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is if you guys choose to make your own pendulum, which is really easy. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. You can have a ring with a string, or even like a paper clip or anything. Sometimes I use my keys on the lanyard, and I just say, show me a yes. So like this, show me a yes, shows me a yes. And I say, show me a no. And then it swings back and forth. So you could do that as well, because like Pamela said, different pendulums and different things, they sometimes will change. So,
okay. Oh, I'm feeling that one. Woo!
Oh, good. I saw you here. I saw you wiggling it out.
I know. I'm wiggling it out. Really fast too. Before we go to the next one, Pamela, you use your thumbs, right? Or do you use a pendulum too?
I do both, but for muscle testing, you can do it, the kinetic testing. I use my hands together. Usually for me, I use the fingers together and one go across. So what you do is you're like, if you're holding a coin, like a dime, and you want to hold it just strong enough where there's some pressure there, but you're not like pushing, so like, right? So it's not really hard. And the ideal is to resist the break. You don't want just to break it through. So like for me, you want to determine your yes and no. And for some people, saying yes and no can be kind of deceptive. So I tell them to say your name. So if I say my name is Pamela, that's my yes. If I say my name is Robert, it comes out. And my phones are still together, so it's not need to break. Some people will do it this way. So it's basically what's easiest for you. You'll learn some people can do a sway test. If you're not real good with your hands, you don't like to do that, you can do a sway test, which is basically you're standing up and you close your eyes and you can determine your yes and no. I will tell people though, like when I do a sway test, my no is very, very prominent and it feels like I'm going to fall backwards. So if you're going to try a sway test standing up, make sure you have something to hold on to just in case.
Good tips. And then Rebecca, you have a different way of muscle testing. You use your body, right?
Yes, I have used pendulums in the past, but what I like to do is just think about something that I'm trying to work out. And then I listen to the energy in my body. Like if I feel something hitting me in the gut, that's a negative. If I feel lighter or freer, my energy is lifted, that's a yes. So I listen to my body and I'm very sensitive to what's going on in my body. So that's more of my indicator than swinging a pendulum. But I do believe that the pendulum is very effective because I have used it in the past. But yeah, that's my technique. Using my body is like a sensing rod that can sense what I need to know. And sometimes I'm always amazed, like how when you meet somebody you can tell if they got a good vibe or a bad vibe. A lot of people can't do that. They're clueless when it comes to being with someone and picking up their vibe. Light workers and empaths are people that do that just naturally.
We do it naturally, so we don't even think about it.
No, we don't.
But
we kind of assume other people can do it.
Yeah.
Like, different times when I was married, we'd go out and meet somebody and I'd go home and say to my husband, wow, did you notice that? Or, that person really is a liar, or maybe they were really nice. Clueless. People, it's amazing how most people don't pick up a lot of, and that's why people are easily tricked. So it's good to learn how to muscle test or swing a pendulum or do something to get the right answers, because your intuition is more accurate than your 5D senses.
I love that. I love that you brought that up, because I use light heavy too, like that tool, and you can play with that with yourself too. What's something that's really exciting? Like when you think about it, you're like, yes, and then just feel how your body feels versus like something no. Usually it's more of like a contraction, or it feels like heavy on your chest, like Rebecca was saying. So you can practice with your body as well. And then Adam, do you use a pendulum too, right?
This is my pendulum. I don't know if you can see it. I did home make it. It's just a little medallion of like a eagle. I don't know if it's like an eagle. And then I just got a chain that I got, and I can just use that to do my checks.
Nice. All right, Amanda. So I felt you clear it, and you want to just really fast say what you're doing, like to clear it for us?
Well, yeah, so there's different ways to clear it, and there's no right or wrong way. Sometimes I use my intuition on how to clear things. Sometimes I'll just naturally do something and it's just the right thing. So sometimes I'll use access bars to clear stuff. Sometimes I'll use my pendulum to create a energy vortex. Sometimes I'll just do the clearing statement, or I'll use a motion code. So with a motion code, we just swipe our fingers over our governing meridian 3 times to clear it. And then I just say, like we're clearing this, totally, completely, and permanently. So for you, I'm going to clear that I won't make money as a light worker totally, completely, and permanently. And as I clear for people, I yawn because it's the energy coming through. And hopefully as people see this, we'll be clearing for everybody and the collective, because it's really important, because right now light workers are so very, very needed. Yeah. All right, next question. So next question was, no one is really interested. So maybe light workers will think, well, nobody's really interested in my gifts or my talents or what I have to offer. So we're gonna go around and just ask. I'm gonna use the pendulum and see if any of us believe that. So Amanda is a no, Colette is a no, Adam is a no, Rebecca is a no, and Pamela is a no. So we all got no's for that one. So that's really good.
That's easy. That's good.
Now we forgot to mention that if people wanted to test themselves, the easiest way is the pendulum, or sometimes that doesn't always work for people, right? You might get a pendulum and ask a question and it sits here like this, like literally like that, and it doesn't do anything. You're like, it doesn't work, right? It can work. There's just maybe some things that need to happen first. But Pamela and I have a video that teaches people how to muscle test. It maybe it's just her video. I don't know. We've done one together too, so I don't know. But on our page, there is a short video that will explain how to do that and all the different ways to do muscle testing. So you guys are more than welcome to look those up and then test yourself with these questions.
The other thing, Amanda, is also if you're asking the question in a negative format, sometimes that would be why you're not getting an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Or
it's like you're saying it's like a double negative, right?
Right. And sometimes people they'll ask two questions in one question. So it's like, would they be interested or not? Right. So it's like you're not thinking about, it's like, I mean, I'm just trying to give some example, but my kids do that all the time. Like they'll ask a question, but they're actually asking two questions. So then it's like, wait, what are you asking me? Because I don't know which one to ask. So that's another one. Just be very clear and concise with your questions. So do you guys like that no one is really interested? Since we got a no, do you think we need to add anything to that? Because you can add things and sometimes you'll get a different response or a different answer.
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Well, how about no one is really interested in my gifts? Is that a good one? Well, that's kind of what you were saying, Colette.
Yeah, mine is, yeah, it's like similar but different because like even if they're interested, they might not receive it from me.
Right.
You know, like maybe they'll go to someone else instead of me.
So let's instead say no one is really interested in my gifts. I get a yes for me for that. So see how it changes just by how you pose the question. So so is that true for Colette? Yes. Is that true for Rebecca? Yes. Is that true for Pamela? Yes. Is that true for Adam? No. I was like, no, I'm good. So who wants to clear that statement from us?
See, it's funny because when I ask it differently, and it was a no for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not asking a negative. I ask people, you know, so it's how you ask too can make a difference.
Exactly. But it could be a block in that way. So we want to clear this block.
So just test it though. Test it to say people are interested in my gifts. Okay, instead of saying no one is interested. Say try it the way, just see if it changes.
People are interested in my gifts. So is that true for me? No. Pamela, no. Rebecca, no. Adam, no. Colette, no. So I'm like getting no's, but I'm also getting that somebody's here for Pamela. So maybe that's like, why you're getting.
Yeah, I'm getting differently. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's, and here's the thing, guys, when we're working with people and I'm getting like weird answers, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second, because people do come in, ancestors, they come in and they like to be healed and they're healing the lineage. Sometimes we have, great grandparents that come in because they've actually passed down something to you and they want to be able to heal you and the rest of the family. So for Pamela, this is on her dad's side, and this is your grandma, so your dad's mother. Yeah, it's your grandma. So so she said that she has this, no one is really interested in my gifts. So do you know much about that grandma?
I know she was really mean.
Well, was she a light worker or
I don't think so.
She had gifts? Okay.
I don't think she was, but she was. I just know she was very, very, really mean, and she was, especially to my dad. I remember as a kid. So.
Okay. Well, let's just heal this from your grandma. So with ancestors that came in that are already passed over, we just swipe 10 times using emotion code. Okay, there we go. Okay, that was it. That was everything. So sometimes ancestors can kind of put a little monkey wrench in things. So that's awesome. If I go back and ask again,
it's funny because I'm getting there's so much energy for each of these for me, and I think it's because we're doing like whoever watches the video too. Because
Yeah.
oh my goodness, each one I'm like,
Mhm.
woo!
yeah. Yeah, and then I'm yawning a lot too, so that's another thing. So so going back to question 2, you guys, do we want to say no one is really interested in my gifts? Because I keep getting yeses for that. Are
I would say
people
just go ahead and
interested?
clear it. Just clear it for
Clear for
everybody.
everybody?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm dousing this one out because if we think this, and this is coming up for a lot of people. So when I douse this, my pendulum just swings and it makes an energy vortex, and it's just clearing for everybody. It's clearing actually for the collective, and this is a really great way to clear for the collective. I have a lot of light worker friends, and sometimes we're all dousing at the same time, and our pendulums like really swing. So this will swing for a little while until it clears everything for everybody that believes this, and then it will slow down. So my hand looks like it's moving, but it's the actual pendulum that's creating my hand to move. So I'm not moving this by myself. It's just moving my hand with the energy. And that's
Yeah,
good.
well,
It's starting to slow down a little.
Pamela, do you want to talk about how you clear things?
So,
Doing that?
okay, I had to make sure I wasn't muted. So, when I clear things, I use the theta healing technique, which is I go into a theta brainwave state, and I'm going in and asking whatever the divine is for that individual to go in and clear that belief from them. And we clear it on historic level, cell level, DNA level. So it's just more than just one overall. And it's instant. It's immediately, it clears. What happens a lot of times is when I clear that one up, something else that was there will pop up. Right. I tell people it's kind of like the difference between clearing the beliefs and a lot of people say it's like peeling an onion, but to me it really isn't. It's like playing that game of Jenga, where the idea is not to make things fall apart, but with the theta healing, we really want to, because if you just pull one little piece out, that's just a belief. It's not the core belief. If you get the core belief that has all these other things attached to it, like a web, right? You get that core belief, and then it pulls everything else down with it. And so the healing can happen a lot quicker.
Awesome. How's it going, Amanda?
Oh, it's all done. We cleared it.
Yay!
Yay! How does it get better than that? All right. So this next one we have is kind of a 2-part. So no one will believe me. It looks like I have that because it's going to test me first, just because I'm connected to these, I guess. So I have that. Colette, no. Rebecca, no. Pamela, yes. Adam, yes. So you guys want me to clear that really quick?
Yep.
And while you're clearing that, Rebecca, do you want to talk about how you clear limiting beliefs?
Well, yeah, I take a little bit different approach in that I have a background in Christian science and science of mind and all those Christian religions that practice spiritual healing. We call it giving treatments. And when I give a treatment for a negative belief, I go to what I call I go within and I convince myself that the spiritual realm is more real, totally more real than this 3-dimensional world. And when I convince myself of that, I can make adjustments in the spiritual dimension to make things more perfect, which will impact the physical world. And that's how I get rid of limiting beliefs. I have to convince myself that anything that comes into my consciousness that appears to be negative really is just my belief, and it's not really real. Because the real and eternal is perfect. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect universe, everything's perfect. All this crazy crap that we see happening is just a bad dream. And it can be nothingized. And that's why good always overcomes evil ultimately, because good has the power and evil doesn't. But I've convinced myself of all that because I've had enough demonstrations to see that it works. But there's always something to work on. I mean, you get stuck, you're still stuck in the three-dimensional world as long as you still have things to work on. You know, there's always something. So that's how I work it. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. How are you doing, Amanda?
Good. This next one is like people will think I'm weird. So with that, let's see if, so it sounds like I believe that.
I probably have that.
Colette
People
has
have always
that.
thought I was weird.
Colette has that. Rebecca has that. Pamela has that. And Adam has that. So it sounds like we all have that. So let's go ahead and change that. Colette, would you like to change that for us?
Sure. Well, for me, I use access consciousness tools. So the way that it works for me, and it's probably different for like different practitioners because there's like a couple 100,000 access consciousness people, and I'm not a certified facilitator. I'm a bars facilitator, but anyway, so we use something called the clearing statement, and it's going to sound like I'm just saying something ridiculous, but there's a whole video about it. It's called, you just go to theclearingstatement.com and it'll explain like what it all means. But basically what it does is, like if you imagine a tree, you have a seed, and then the seed grows roots, it grows a trunk, it grows branches and leaves, and those are all the living beliefs that are added on. So if you take something and you try to tell yourself like, oh, I don't believe that, you might just cut off a branch or a leaf. But when you use the clearing statement, you're actually getting rid of the seed. Because people try to change things and they're like, I don't know why it's not changing. It's because they're just cutting off a branch. They're not actually deleting it at the seed or the root, you know, where it started from, which could have been, you know, lifetimes ago. It could be passed down. It could be from someone else. We don't always know where this seed came from. So we use the clearing statement to destroy and then create the root, like that seed that was planted that grew all the other limiting beliefs around it. So the clearing statement says, so what is the limiting belief?
That people will think I'm weird.
All right. So there's a few different, like you ask the question, you always have to ask a question. So I'm trying to think of a good question. So one question is like, what gels am I using? What gels am I using? What gels am I using to create the dominance of equals MC squared around people thinking I am weird am I using? So everything that is and everything that brings up, destroy and create it all, times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pun puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So you ask the question to bring up the energy because it's not even about the words. You're not trying to get an answer, and that's one thing that like people get really caught up on. They want to be right and they want to make other people wrong. But when you ask a question, it's about the energy of the question. It's about like the feelings that come up when you ask the question, and then clearing that negative energy with the clearing statement, the right, wrong, good, bad, pot, buck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And so I feel it in my body. And sometimes you have to ask the same question like a bunch of times, especially if there's like a lot of energy. Like when you ask the question, you're still feeling it. You might have to ask the question a few times till it's completely dissipated. So I'm trying to think of another question. Of like around people. Whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create people thinking I'm weird am I choosing? So everything that is and everything that brings up, destroy and create it all, times the godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So there's like a lot of energy. Like when I ask that question, like I'm feeling a lot of energy around it. So I'm going to ask it again. So whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create people thinking that I'm weird am I choosing? Everything that is and everything that brings up, destroy and create it all, times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, woof, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So again, like there's still like I'm still feeling a lot of energy around it. So I'm going to ask it another time. So whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create people thinking that I'm weird. Am I choosing? Whew, everything that is and everything that brings up. Destroyed and created all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. And so I do think like I'll breathe a lot because I do something called access consciousness bars where I touch people's heads and that dissipates energy. And so like the way I'm feeling right now is how I feel during a bar session. So I breathe, like I'll like breathe heavily, and that's how I clear things is by like, or I'll shake. Like you might notice me like shaking. That's me like dissipating energy. Whew. So I'm gonna ask again, whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create people thinking I am weird? Am I choosing? So everything that is times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Man. So it's kind of like her, like Amanda's pendulum, except for I'm the pendulum. So like I'm feeling like all of this energy moving in my body as I'm asking this question and clearing it. And so we're not quite there yet. So whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create people thinking I'm weird? Am I choosing? So everything that is and everything that brings up, just turning credit all times, a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, well, it's starting to get lighter. I don't know how you guys are feeling. How are you guys feeling?
I feel like I'm gonna yawn again.
Yeah, yawning's like another thing that I feel. Adam, what were you saying?
I'm just yawning like crazy.
Yeah, there's like every one of these questions, like every one of these statements, I just have so much energy around. So I'm really excited if you're watching this because that means, you know, we're clearing this for you too.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool.
All right.
Okay. So how are you feeling now, Colette? You're feeling like we're ready to move on to the next statement?
I think the energy is just clearing. So we can move on to the next one and maybe Pamela can do that one. And I'll just keep clearing.
Yeah. Okay. So the next statement is nobody wants my gifts. So no for me, no for Rebecca, no for Pamela, no for Colette, no for Adam. My gifts won't be received. So I get a yes for me, yes for Colette, yes for Rebecca, yes for Pamela, no for Adam. Adam's just cool, calm, and collected. He doesn't worry about anything.
Yep.
All right. So Pamela, did you want to clear that for us, that our gifts won't be received?
Sure.
Okay.
And I'm also adding in there for us forgiveness for the times that we've held ourselves back because of that belief. That was a huge shift.
I was going to say that was a huge shift for me too. Yay. Awesome. Okay.
We're going to be awesome after this video, all of us with all these lightness.
Yeah, this is so cool. Okay, so this one is I have to be perfect. So like I have to be perfect. So I got that. Colette has that. Rebecca does not have that. Pamela does not have that, and Adam does not have that. So just Colette and I have that. So
I've worked on that a lot because I was very much a perfectionist before. So that's been a lot of work.
yeah, I used to be too. I guess I still kind of am a little bit, but now I just kind of like, you know, I kind of pick and choose my battles a little bit better. Okay, so let's just release the need that we have to be perfect, the core negative belief that we have to be perfect, totally. Okay, awesome. Now, the other one that goes with that is that my life has to be, or actually, well, I have to have perfect health to be a light worker. Okay, so that's another one. So Colette, I get a yes for you. I get a yes for me. Rebecca, I get a yes for you. Pamela, I get a yes for you. And Adam, I get a yes for you. So, let's just release that core negative belief for all of us, totally, completely, and permanently. Ooh. Ooh, gosh, sometimes the yawns are so intense that I feel like I'm never gonna stop yawning, and sometimes it like hurts my jaw. I'm like, oh. Okay. The other one to that is that we feel like our life has to be in perfect order to be a light worker. So I don't have that. Colette doesn't have that. Rebecca doesn't have that. Pamela does not have that. However, Adam does. Adam, you have one that the rest of us doesn't have. All right, so let's release that core negative belief for you, totally, completely, and permanently. Well, that's why all of these came up for us, because each of us has a little bit of these. Okay, so perfect. Okay, this is the last one. So the last one is that I need training, or I need to be licensed, or I need to be certified in order to be a light worker. And I know I'm guilty of this because I felt like I couldn't be a light worker without a certification, or people wouldn't view me as being certified, or I wouldn't have my credentials, or whatever. I was always a light worker prior. But I think for all of us here, we're like, well, what modality are we going to use so that we feel like we're not more important, but just that
people would take us seriously.
Yeah, exactly. That's what exactly I was going to say.
I mean, I have so many certifications.
I think you and I both, because we have like so many. But it's nice. I love learning about different modalities, because sometimes people may need a different thing in our toolbox. So I love learning. So let's see, can I clear all of this together? So I can clear all of this together. So who has this? So me, Colette, Pamela, Adam. Rebecca doesn't have this. So let's clear this for all of us. Okay, so the pendulum is actually created that healing vortex again. So it looks like when we clear this healing vortex, is actually clearing this from past lives as well. So which is really important. So we bring a lot of things into our current life. And a lot of us, well, we're all light workers here. So we've been light workers since the beginning of time. Sometimes we go through different lives, and we've been maybe killed over our gifts. We've been burned at the stake over our gifts. So a lot of times we don't want to bring those gifts out to the open because we're nervous and scared. So this is just healing all of that as a collective. Okay, so I am just clearing. I'll just clear this. So if you guys want to talk a little bit, it's going to probably go for a couple minutes.
Adam, do you just want to chat about what you do? Because I know you work with the rest of us, but I'm just curious, like what you do when you notice you have a limiting belief coming up. You're muted, by the way.
It's actually typically with all of you guys anyways. So, I mean, I'm pretty much with Amanda at Emotion Code. She's sort of showed me how to do some things. But for whatever reason, it won't let me clear it typically by myself. So I'm typically, if I ask if I can clear it by myself, it always says no. And then always the first question I always ask, do I have to get in touch with Amanda? And it always says yes. So I don't know why it won't let me clear it by myself. Well, Amanda and I are twin flames. We did figure that out actually almost a year ago to the date, right? And so since that time, it just seems like whatever I have to do, I have to do it with Amanda. So
It's not very empowering, but it's cute.
it's not, but it's also understandable to me is that, you know, when your souls are like that, that you have to remember this is energy, and, you know, and this isn't about me. This is about something that's bigger than me, and I'm being guided by divine energy, and that's the best way. So when I say, well, why can't I just do it myself? Well, that's not up to me. Like, I might make plans, but God has his own plans, or energy, or whatever source, whatever it is, they have the plans. And I mean, I'm just trying to follow their guidance, um, and not try to force things, right? So I think since I've stopped trying to force it and say, well, I'm doing this regardless if you want me to or not, just like, go ahead and we'll see where you end up. And then instead I just let go of things, right? So that's just kind of how I do, is when I feel that struggle, or I feel like, you know, something isn't working the way that I want it to, I just let it go, because I know it's not the right time or the right way for this to happen.
Awesome. And so I have stopped that energy vortex to heal all of that. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown to make sure that we're all clear. So are we all clear with these limiting beliefs? And I get a big yes.
Woohoo! Go us.
Hey, yeah, awesome. We lost Rebecca.
I know.
Yeah, not sure where
Must
she
have
went.
lost her.
That's
I
okay.
don't
We're
know.
pretty much done anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing all of your insight and all of your knowledge around, you know, these limiting beliefs. We'll probably be making more videos like this. So make sure you come back. Mondays, we do interviews with awesome, amazing light workers. If you're interested in being interviewed, reach out to us. We would love to speak with you to see if it's a good fit for our channel. And then if you're interested in any of, you know, getting your limiting beliefs individually cleared, reach out to any of us. You know, who you resonate with most, like Adam said, you know, he uses his intuition and his pendulum to decide who to work with. So feel free to do that. You can either leave a comment below, find us on Facebook. So you have Adam Siskowski, which I don't know if you saw his name, but, and then Pamela Allen, Amanda Johnson Stewart, I'm Colette Gallagher, and then Rebecca Tripp, TRIPP. So you can find us on Facebook. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to comment below as well. We would love answering any questions that people have. If you have topic ideas for videos, questions, we could love to make videos for you guys based on your topics too. So please subscribe to our channel, and hopefully you will catch us live on Monday as well. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.